Hello, Knights fans. Back with the Knights baseball roundup this week, as always, with Coach Gary Puccio. Coach, team's been hot of late. 7 of your last 9. You had a 6-game winning streak mixed in there, including the 4-game sweep of Delaware State, LaSalle, and then you took the first game against Penn. Let's first talk about that LaSalle game. You hosted them at MCU Park. Not your home field, but definitely got accustomed to it this weekend with 5 games there. Wild game. You had a lead there. You felt comfortable, probably up 8-4. It got away. Some fluky plays, a couple errant throws, and next thing you know, you're tied. Extra innings. But Joe Flack came up big for you again. He's been the closer for this team. He gave you 5 innings through 85-plus pitches. Came out and ended up getting the win in that game. Just talk about that game on the whole.
Yeah, it was actually 8-2 going to the top of the 8th, and I brought in Dylan, and he had come in the 7th, and he was a little shaky. And, it's one of those games where you kind of sitting there, it's 8-2, and I'm kind of like, we're going to be fine. And Dylan gave a run, it's 8-3. He gives another run, it's 8-4. Before you know it, it's 8-6. I waited way too long. I bring in Joe. Top of the 9th, there's 2 out, man on second. Ground ball back to Joe, and he throws the ball away. And now we're somewhere in extra innings. And, I'd asked Joe about a 4-out save for Thursday. And instead of a 4-out save, he gave me 5.1 innings, as it turned out. But, he was a starter in the past. So, he was the closer. It was like, I kind of felt like once I blew it, and that was 100% my fault. And once I blew it and it was a tie game, that I said, I can't lose this game. If I'm going to lose this game, I got to lose this game with my closer because what's right is right. So, it's hard it's a devastating loss when you're up 8-2 in the 8th. So, thank God Joe held them. I mean, he's incredible. I mean, he threw 90 pitches and got out of, first and third, 1 out, another inning, man on third, 1 out. Like, incredible what he did. And then Adam Frank came up big in the bottom of the 13th, and thank God we won that game because that was totally on me.
Yeah, it's definitely good to show the resiliency. Obviously, your team takes all the momentum, goes to the other side, and then you come back and respond like you did. Let's talk about Adam Frank. He was named NEC Rookie of the Week this week. He had the walk-off hit there as he knocked in Stanton. Really just turned on a pitch there in the 13th inning, smoked it down that third base, left field line there past the third baseman. So, talk about his performance. I think he hit .550 this week. He just seems locked in. I mean, we're up in the press box watching this game, and every time he comes up, it seems like, oh, there's another single for Frank. It's business as usual.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that he had 4 multi-hit games this week, which was incredible. He had like 8 hits for the week. I mean, we moved the kid to the leadoff spot, and boy, did he respond. And he batted leadoff back when he played in high school at Don Bosco. And, you get a kid from Don Bosco, you're getting a quality athlete, quality kid, and Adam fits all that. He's been a major plus for us. I think the biggest thing was the UPenn game where after Jason Ortiz worked out a terrific 2-out bases loaded walk, and Adam came up with a big 2 RBI hit right after that, 2-out, 2 RBI hit, which was phenomenal. And he's just a gamer. He's one of those kids. We played him at third, we played him at second, we played him at first. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care. He'll play anywhere. He'll bat anywhere. And the kid just performs for you. He's a major plus and going to be a major factor here for the next 4 years.
Yes, and then we talked about the series with Penn. Now you end up getting the 2-game split there, 4-game split. Sorry, 2 wins for you. Maybe could have gone all 4. I mean, those games were very much in the balance throughout it. A lot of different games, some low-scoring games, some high-scoring games. But the one thing that's been constant is your ability to use your whole roster. I think this might be your deepest team to date. You're going all the way, some of it by necessity, but I mean, definitely your deep bullpen. And then you're putting guys at all different positions. Frank played first base. You're putting Tavares at third base and Ortiz over at second. So you're moving some guys here. Just talk about the team's depth and what you saw from those 4 games as you move guys around.
Yeah, I think with the Salle game, I used something like 18 players in that game for us to win. And that's one of the things I tell the guys all the time. You never know when it's going to be your shot. You never know when it's going to be your opportunity when you're going to get the chance to play. And that happened to Ollie this weekend where he had to step up and play third that first game of the doubleheader. And a kid gets 2 hits for, he's been basically had maybe 3-4 at-bats so far this season, hadn't really gotten his feet wet. Gets to play that game, and he gets a big 2-out RBI hit. He gets a double and a single and has a terrific game, So, yeah, it takes a whole team to win because you never know who's hurt. You never know who can't play a game. You never know, games go extra innings, 13 innings, that you got to use the bench. You got to use different people. And it's nice to see we have a little bit of depth now. I mean, it's not quite where we want it to be, but it's much better than it's been in the past. And I think that's a big reason for the good start that we've had.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about the freshmen this year, relying heavily on them, not only in the in the bullpen, but also as your everyday players. And it seems like they give you veteran at bats. Obviously, Frank, we talked about with the walk-off hit. Pete Theodorelis hit a homer on Saturday. For Ortiz and Tavares there in the infield, not only giving you good defense, but definitely like working long at bats and maybe getting a single here or a clutch hit or moving a guy over. Talk about the maturity and how pleased you are, I guess, to see some of these freshmen giving you quality at bats.
You know, I was looking the other day at the stats from other previous years, and at the end of 10 games or so, to see where some of the freshmen were hitting, and these guys are definitely doing as well or better than the freshmen in the past. I think Theodorelis has a home run already. Steve Yellen's hit a home run. So, we're getting some real good production out of the freshmen. Kind of Stanton won a game for us would have worked his way on, stole the base, and Brad Levinson bunted the third, and then we scored an Adam Franks hit. So that was three freshmen contributing to a win that they basically made happen. So, yeah, they're definitely feeling their way through, and they're only going to get better. I really believe that. I think it's a real good class. I mean, there's a reason they're ranked 68th in the country is a recruiting class. That Coach McKay did a great job bringing these kids in. Pitchers have been one better than the next. The position players have been solid, and it's just a question of gelling and moving forward. And I think the next 4 years are promising here.
So and another guy we've touched on, he was 2 weeks ago, he was the NEC co-pitcher of the week, your junior Corey Zeller. I know he's the veteran of your staff. He really came through and delivered again on Sunday. Probably should have had a 6 innings of shutout baseball, but had that fluky play, which I'm sure you could get to. Spectators' interference, I believe, was the ruling by the umpire on that allowed the run to score. But he buckled down, struck out the next batter, escaped the jam, and gave you a chance to get the 3-1 victory.
That's why baseball is a phenomenal game, because I'm doing this 39 years. I've coached almost 1,000 games in college, not to mention high school and everything else. And yet I saw something I have never seen in 39 years of doing this, where, the umpire gave Evan threw Corey the ball back, and Corey saw a cut on the ball and just threw the ball out of play instead of throwing the ball back to the catcher and giving it to the umpire. Just threw it out of play, and it was a live ball. So, unheard of, unseen. Not exactly the brightest move we've ever made. So what are you going to do? But what I told the freshman pitchers and the young players is, okay, Corey screwed up, and Corey realized he screwed up. And Corey just got on the mound and said, okay, what a moron I just was for doing that, but I'm going to make sure I get right out of this, because it was bases loaded. And he made sure he got right out of it and gave up no other runs the rest of the game. And, Corey's the anchor. That's why he pitches Sunday. That's why he's the anchor for us. And we need that, because we don't have a lot of experience on the mound. And the two guys that we have with the most experience are Corey and Joe Flack. And, boy, they have both been major pluses for us.
They have given you some big innings. So now as you gear up for obviously the focal point of this season, Northeast Conference play, and it's going to start with a cold weekend out at Central Connecticut State, hoping to get 3 games there in New Britain. As you look towards the NEC calendar, what has been your message to these guys, and what have you seen from CCSU so far in their non-conference?
Yeah, it's all about preparing. It's all about being ready, and we can do all the scouting reports and everything else, but the bottom line comes down to when you get out there, where's the key moment of the game, and do you perform in that moment? That's basically what it comes down to as far as winning and losing. And I think they've gained, we've played 13 games already, so they've gained a little bit of experience, and they still got things to learn. Freshmen, I felt that the one game against Penn State, against UPenn, we totally gave away the game, where we gave 4 runs in an inning, where I think they only had 1 hit in the inning, and they had. The other day they had 8 runs on 5 hits because we had made an error, hit a batter, and walked 4 guys in 1 inning. So they still got things to learn. They still got to recognize that, this is the key moment of the game where I got to throw a strike, or I have to make a play on defense, or I have to get a hit here with second and third one out, So it just takes time to learn. I think these guys are doing a good job of learning it, and hopefully we'll keep progressing. Central's the defending champs. So obviously they're going to be good. There's nobody in the league that's not good. One of the things I tell the young guys, it's Division I. That you make that error, you make that mistake, you hit that batter, you walk that guy, you open the door for the other team. And at Division I, they're going to have players that are going to march through that door. So you can't open that door. You got to recognize that you got to keep that door closed as much as possible. And we're getting there. I like this team. I've talked about this from day one. I love the chemistry of this team. They play hard. Ali Tavares hadn't played in how long, and then there's a foul ball over near the dugout, and he goes flying over the railing of the dugout trying to catch the ball. Nobody caught him. I don't know what our teammates were thinking, but nobody caught the poor kid, and he goes like head first into the dugout floor. But that's a kid showing you he wants to play. That's a kid showing you that I'm going to do everything I can to stay out here and to help my team win. And that's what I like about this team. I really do. I just think they have a good mix of young and old. Like I said, it reminds me of 2012 a lot. Good mix of young and old. And, you know, we haven't really talked about like Evan McDonald and Bobby and, you know, the older guys. I mean, Evan hit for the cycle one of the games. So those guys are doing their part, and the younger guys are doing their part. And together it's a nice little mesh.
Yeah, definitely a good balance there between the youth and the energy and the exuberance, and then you get the veterans kind of teaching them the way the game is played, and definitely the keys to coming out with wins. Well, good luck this weekend up at Central.
Yep, thank you. Appreciate it.
So the Knights will take on the Central Connecticut State Blue Devils for a 3-game series that'll begin on Friday, March 23rd at 3 p.m. Again, obviously all weather permitting. Hopefully the weather will be cooperative this weekend for the team. For all information about the FDU baseball team, head to fduknights.com.